Welcome back to Success and Equity on BCTV. I'm Francis Mayer, and today we're talking about how there is room for everybody at Bakersfield College. We were talking to Fitzgerald Graves earlier, and you can go to YouTube, Bakersfield College Equity TV, and look for his video segment. But we were talking about how there's not really any other place in Kern County where you can go and you can show up and you can say, hey, I don't really have a lot going on in my life right now, but I want to. And there will just be a flood of people ready to help you have more to do than you ever dreamed. Fitzgerald told you he hardly has time to stop and catch his breath. Right now, we have a special gentleman with us. His name is Stephen Watkin. And Mr. Watkin, you started a new office at Bakersfield College. Can you tell us what it's called and what you guys are about?
So January 2014, we started a program called Outreach and School Relations. And the primary reason we started this office and department is to assist students who are interested in applying to Bakersfield College. We wanted to make sure they knew what they needed to do to become a student. So we introduced academic programs. We talked about the application, orientation, assessment. So basically everything the student needs to do in order to start on the first day of school. And that's our primary goal, is to help students who want to come to BC.
And you know, people will say to themselves, like, is it really that hard? And the answer is yes, it is. Professor Corny Rodriguez tells the I don't know story. And he talks about how when he first told his father, he's a first-generation college attendee, like a lot of our students are, by the way. He said, I want to go to college. And his dad said, okay. And he said, how do you think we'll pay for it? I don't know. How do you think I'll enroll? I don't know. And there are a lot of steps to matriculation, right?
Yes. Basically, sometimes students don't know what to do. So we come along to say, okay, this is the first thing you need to do is complete the application. The second thing you need to do is do an orientation. Well, what's an orientation? Well, that tells you about all the steps you need to complete and also what you need to do to prepare for college as well. All the support programs. So we just don't want you to start at BC. We want you to know why you're starting and deadlines and all the little things that you may not be aware of. And we give you that information in orientation. And then also after you do your orientation, well, we want to place you in the appropriate math, English, or reading class. So we wanted to let you know, prepare for the assessment before you take the assessment.
Yes.
Because if you can start off taking college level courses, that just means that you have less time at the community college if you want to transfer.
Sure.
And then if you do all those steps, guess what? You get priority registration, which means that you get to pick the classes, the times, the day, when you want them, because you've completed all the steps. So we're facilitators, but the student has to be willing to come in, but we're there to help them get through the process.
Right. And that's one thing that we've been driving home, and Fitzgerald and I talked a lot about, is that you don't have to have the money right now. You don't have to know what you want to be when you grow up right now. But you do have to want to do it.
Yes.
And if you bring that desire, we've got all kinds of help for you.
Yes. No one is denied at a community college. But the thing is, if you procrastinate and you wait until 2 weeks before school starts, well, what's going to happen? Your financial aid is not going to be available.
Right
the classes
away,
are going to be full.
Right.
And you're going to be on a wait list. And so you get frustrated. But preparing early will relieve some of that anxiety.
No, you will be Joe Cool on the first day of school if you go through Mr. Watkins' program. And it's funny to me because if you go to someone who hasn't been to college before and you're like, dude, you'll get priority registration, they'll be like, why do I care about that? After one semester at BC, you will learn what a golden ticket priority registration is. It could make the difference.
Yes.
I mean, it could shave time off your tenure at BC, not tenure for professors, but students, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
And it's important because if you get priority registration, you're going to get the courses you need when you need them. One of the things that we do as part of the matriculation is the counseling appointment. So basically, we want you to have a plan. So whatever that plan is, if you want to get a certificate, you want to transfer, or you just want additional courses for your job, we want you to know what that is before you start. Because students who start without a goal, you're just aiming aimlessly and you don't know what you're doing. But when students have a plan, have a goal, the chances are they'll be ready to finish that goal and move on with their lives.
Right. And even if you don't have a major selected yet, look, you've come to BC to improve yourself, and that is goal enough. But you need to have that and let them know. Even if you don't have a major picked out yet, you can get some general ed classes out of the way, and you take your student development and courses like that. Now, not to be overly superficial, but I gotta say, you have created a warm embrace in that front of the administration building. That's really set up for comfort. You've got a place to receive people now, right?
So we created a welcome center,
That's awesome.
and the welcome center is there for students who need help with just maybe doing an application, adding or dropping a class, or just finding out, okay, there's something going on campus. Where do I go? So we want the Welcome Center to be the first stop for all first-time visitors at Bakersfield College. And so we're improving the signage. So it's a new feel. It's a new terminology, the Welcome Center. And we've got new furniture. So it's a pretty cool place. And when it's complete, I would say we're going to have monitors up, sort of like announcing activities on campus. So that's coming probably in the next 4 to 6 months.
Oh, that's awesome. That's really changing the face of that building. Look, it was always beautiful, but it felt like it was about 15 years ago. There's gorgeous wood paneling up in there. There's some plants. You got Victor Crossway, of course, who's a total character and a great guy. But something was missing. It felt just kind of like a waiting room. And now it's a destination, I would
Yes.
say. And that is awesome. And it's great to have a starting off spot. I caught one morning President Sonia Christian helping somebody. I doubt this student had any clue who she is, but she's everybody's boss, at the college. And she was like, "Oh, let me show you how to log in," and bent down. And it's like, it's a pretty interesting place in its proximity to people who make things happen at the college too.
Yes, and it's nice. It's in the administration building, so
Right.
it's a wonderful spot, and so it's sort of like the first stop of many places on the campus. And so we're trying to just let the campus know we're going to probably have an open house once we get everything complete, and I'm hoping that'll happen in the next 4 to 6 months as well.
Oh man, there's all kinds of cool stuff happening this academic year. Now, how did we get you? Now, and where did you come from? Because you've been here since, as you said, 2014. Where were you before?
So prior to my arrival at Bakersfield College, I was at California State University, Bakersfield, and I had the pleasure of starting up an outreach department there in 2000, actually. And I've had a wonderful experience, 13 years. The enrollment grew from about maybe 500 students to over 1,300 freshman students. And so had a really wonderful time. And coming to Bakersfield College was sort of like an opportunity that I've never had before. I've only worked at four-year institutions. So this is my first community college, and boy, am I excited to be at Bakersfield College.
It's a good time to be at BC, is it not?
It is. It really is.
Yeah, you can feel the energy. You can feel the buzz. And it's interesting that we've had a few people, I don't want to name names, but we've had quite a few people coming from four-year schools to our campus. And I think that says something. Now, of course, we offer a couple four-year degrees now, the baccalaureate program, and we're one of just a few community colleges in the nation that have that opportunity. But there is just great change in the air. What do you attribute that to? Is it's just forward thinking in general right now, isn't it?
Yes, it is. And I think the high schools in general are very happy that we have an outreach department now, because sort of like maybe the last 5 years, students kind of had to do it on their own, and maybe with a little support from the high school counselors and a little support from the college staff. But now that we've got a department, we literally strategize, we plan, and we go out to the high schools. The high schools come on our campus. And so it's more organized, and the process is simpler for the students who are really, they need direction. And so we're there to help them get through that process.
I spend a lot of time in the gymnasium, but I was up going back and forth, probably to meet with Amber Chang up there in administration. And I saw the red tent set up. Chris was out there. Deb from your office is out there. And I stopped and asked what they were doing. And they were basically doing everything that is involved in the matriculation process, the process you described earlier. But they were like walking people through that process, weren't they?
Yes. We've had programs called It's Possible.
Yes, I wish they had that when I was a student.
So a student can literally apply for admissions, take the assessment test, do a counseling workshop, and register for classes all in one day.
Whoa. That's crazy, because that is usually something that happens over several days, if not a couple weeks for most people.
Yes.
In the past, anyway. Now it seems that you and your team are turning that idea on its ear. What an incredible opportunity for students! So I remember feeling so cut short when I stopped and I was like, "What are you up to?" And they told me, and I was like, "That's what it's possible is. I guess it is possible. That's crazy. Like that's wild." So I'm excited that you brought that to our campus. It sounds like you've got a lot more surprises to trot out in the next 4 to 6 months. You talked about at Cal State going from 500 to 1,300 incoming freshmen. We've seen attendance rise at BC. People are getting more excited about our school, aren't they?
Oh, yes. Our enrollment increased this year 8.5%, so almost 9%
Now, as a guy in
in one
academia,
year.
how huge is that?
Oh, incredible. Can you imagine? That's like we're going to give you a 10% raise in your salary, right?
Yeah.
That's incredible.
Yeah.
But just the fact that most of our students are from Kern County, so we're basically servicing our community. And so the students who are coming to BC are from right here in our hometown. So they're not coming from LA, they're not coming from the Bay Area. So we're doing a service to the community, which is very important to us.
We're raising the level, and that's something I'm very proud of every time that I put on a BC shirt or one of my many BC hats, is that we are raising, and we've all heard the jokes. Everybody likes to take shots at us for lower literacy rates and things like that, and there are some challenges inherent to our community for that, but I feel that we are raising the bar in general.
Oh, yes. And the fact of the matter is, when students come to Bakersfield College, they're not going to just a community college, they're starting college. So whether they transfer after 2 years or 3 years, some of the pathways are just as simple as if they started at a 4-year college. So if they come college level ready, they're not wasting any time at all. So the goal is, if you need remediation, we're there for you for that as well. But if you do not need remediation, you can get your 4-year degree in 4 years.
Amazing. And you're going to save money. You're not going to be buried in that debt that people talk about. And it is a cheaper option to go to Bakersfield College. There's 1,000 good reasons, and now we give you one more. Mr. Walken and his office, they are making this so easy for you. I don't know if it's ever been easier to get through that process than what you've done. So awesome, but you got to bring the desire. That's it. Thank you for being on the show today.
Thank you very much.
Awesome. Don't go anywhere. Coming up, we've got a guy who is going to reinforce the notion that we've been talking about all day. If you don't think that BC is the place for you, I don't know. You probably are a dog who talks. We don't have any talking dogs at BC yet, but we have every manner of person. And you can be one of them. It's never been easier. We got late start classes going on right now. Visit the website, come to the college, the building with administration. They've even got great furniture in there for you and people to help you take your first steps. Don't go anywhere. We have more Success in Equity on BCTV coming up next.